Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Hello friends, welcome to this course on Integrated Marketing Communication, and I welcome you to today's lecture on Introduction to Advertising. I am Dr. Bhavneet Bhatti, Assistant Professor, School of Communication Studies, Punjab University. Before we move ahead for today's lecture, let's see what we learned in the previous lecture. The previous lecture was all about consumer behavior. We understood how consumer is important to every marketer and how integrated marketing communications can actually change the way consumer thinks about your product. So we learned various dimensions of consumer behavior. Further, we also understood what is SWOT analysis and what are the various dimensions of strategic planning. After having learned so much, now it is time to understand the most important factor in integrated marketing communication, which is advertising. This lecture is dedicated towards a deeper understanding of advertising. So welcome to the third module of the course and the first lecture titled Introduction to Advertising. Let's see what are going to be the specific objectives to cover in this lecture. First of all, we are going to learn into the introduction of the concept of advertising. Secondly, we are going to see what are the various media available for advertising. And thirdly, we are going to learn the process of building advertisements and advertising campaigns. So let's start with today's lecture. Friends, advertising is all around you. Whether it is the billboards that chase you whenever you are outside, whether it is the newspapers or magazine that you keep looking at while you are at home, and today, latest, new media, social media, and the gaming environment. Advertisements are part of each and every experience and stimuli around you. But as a student of integrated marketing communication, it becomes important to ask some questions. Let us see what questions could be coming to your mind when you think about advertising. First of all, how does advertising differ from the other ingredients of the integrated marketing communication? Secondly, what is it that makes advertising important? What is the role? What is the function? What is the advantage of advertising? So we look at the functions. And thirdly, you must be wondering, how are advertisements made? What is the process through which the advertisement on advertisement campaign is made? So let us see if this lecture can help answer these questions. We have all made an effort to define advertising when we did our basic lecture on advertising in the first module. So if you remember some concepts about advertising from the first module, try to think of some keywords that come to your mind when I ask you to define advertising. Take a moment, friends, and think about it. What are the keywords that come to your mind when I ask you to define advertising? Maybe some important characteristic features? Okay, let's see. The first thing that comes to our mind is paid. Advertising is a paid form of mass communication. You need to purchase that space or time in which you have to put your advertisement. So paid is one keyword. Non-personal. You cannot have advertisement which is done door to door. Advertisements are done through mass media. So advertisement becomes a non-personal form of communication. Thirdly, we have to learn that advertising deals with mass media. Like we said, it is non-personal, so it is using newspapers, magazines, radio, television. All these are mass media. It needs a vehicle. Advertisement is actually a message which needs a vehicle to be carried till the consumer. Next, it always has an identified sponsor. It is not like publicity where you don't know the source of information. Advertising will always have an identified sponsor. And promotion. We know that advertising is one of the forms or tools of the promotional mix. So we need to understand that these are the keywords which ultimately give us the definition of advertising. Let's try to put these keywords together in a single string of sentence and see if we get our definition of advertising. So here it is. any paid form of non-personal presentation and promotion of ideas, goods and services by an identified sponsor. Now, this is a recognized definition even by the American Marketing Association and by Philip Kotler and co-authors. This definition is believed to be the classic definition because it brings together all the keywords. And if you see, friends, this is the best way to understand advertising and to differentiate it from other tools. It is a paid form, unlike public relations or publicity. It is a non-personal form, unlike door-to-door selling. And what does advertising primarily do? What are the functions of advertising? To promote any goods, ideas, or services. And there is always going to be an identified sponsor, that is the brand name, the logo, or the name of the manufacturer. Let's look at another definition of advertising to give us a few more key concepts into the advertising. Advertising is a paid, non-personal communication from an identified sponsor using mass media to persuade or influence the audience. So Wells and co-author add another dimension to this, where they say that advertising is everything that Kotler has already said, but also there is this new dimension that this is done with the purpose of actually persuading or influencing the audience. And how do you do that? You do that with the help of appeals. You do that with the help of visuals, concepts, ideas that can persuade people. So I hope definitions of advertising are absolutely clear to you. Let's move ahead and see what further can we learn in the concept of advertising. We have to look at advertising vis-a-vis the other tools of IMC. Friends, do you remember from your lecture on promotional mix that what are the various tools or what are the various ingredients of promotional mix? Take a minute and ponder over it. Yes, you are absolutely right. These are the various features, these are the various ingredients which make the whole component of IMC or the promotional mix. Let us see the key features and let us see how advertising becomes different from all of them. Now, sales promotion is when you give short-term incentives. So this is short-term tactics to improve your sales, like a promotion, like a discount, like an early bird offer. Publicity and PR are primarily relationship building, image management. These are not paid forms. If you have to put a press release, you do not need to pay the newspaper for it. It's based on the newspaper's credibility. Then direct marketing, which involves direct selling, even telemarketing. And there is a database management of customers through which you reach out to them directly. Then there is interactive or internet marketing. The main goal of interactive marketing is two-way communication, and internet is today the best facilitated form. And last is personal selling, where you go door to door, you sell subscriptions, you try to sell a product. So from all these ingredients, the most visible one, the most prominent one is advertising, for the prime reason that it has very high reach, it gets a lot of attention, and it has the ability to change the way people think about a product because it uses visuals, appeals, and ideas which can make people think differently about a product. So this is how advertising differs from the other tools of integrated marketing communication. So now we are familiar with the keywords, we are familiar with the definition, and we are familiar with how advertising differs from other tools of integrated marketing communication. Let's move on to the next part of our lecture, wherein we are going to look at the functions or the advantages or the key features which make advertising so important. First, it reaches out to mass audiences. When you put an advertisement in a newspaper, you know that there are going to be 1 million readers who open up that newspaper the next morning and they are going to look at your advertisement. When you put an advertisement in a TV, you know that in India, the television households are over 80%. So you need to know that you are reaching out to about 80% of the population. Next, it offers a lot of selectivity within these groups of audience. For instance, if I want to advertise for children, I can choose the kids channel. If I want to advertise only to fitness freaks, I'll choose a health magazine. If I want to advertise only to people in Chandigarh or only to people in Calcutta or to any specific city, I can pick up the local radio station to advertise, or I can pick up the local magazines. So whether it is geographic or whether it is psychographic, advertising gives you that ability to reach out to specific audiences also within the larger gamut of mass audiences. Next, it is very good in terms of cost benefit ratio, specifically when you look at certain kind of media, and today new media, which requires very low production cost but has very high reach. So it is becoming a cost specific, cost benefit ratio is also coming out good for advertising. Then it has appeals, rational and emotional appeals. Sometimes you can lure people by giving them logical arguments that this is a durable product, it is an efficient product. Sometimes you can really lure them or persuade them by giving emotional appeals. For instance, fear or love, or maybe a pride. You could tell somebody to buy a particular phone because there is a lot of pride involved in owning that brand, or you could tell somebody to buy a certain cooking oil because they love their family and they want to keep them healthy. So there are different ways, emotional and rational, which can help an advertiser to really convince an audience to buy their product. Plus there are fabulous visuals, there are one liners, captions, slogans, like thanda matlab coca cola, or think different, or just do it, so on and so forth. So they really motivate you to go and buy a product. Next, there is brand positioning. Advertising campaigns can position something in your mind like no other component. So it helps in brand positioning also. Now, when we look at the advantages, it also becomes important to look at the functions side by side. Those were all the relative advantages. And now we are going to look at the functions that the advertisement fulfills. First function that we should remember is also a very important communication model. It is called the AIDA model. AIDA stands for attention, interest, desire, and action. Any advertisement that you look at, it must fulfill these four functions. First of all, an advertisement is only effective when it is able to capture your attention. You should be able to really be curious about what is going to follow in that advertisement. Second is interest. Does the advertisement build your interest? Do you want to read the advertisement further? Or if you're watching an advertisement on TV, do you want to see that advertisement further and not switch channels? Third is desire. Imagine looking at an advertisement for a food product. Does that food product, does the visual of that food product really build in that desire that you want to go and try that food in that restaurant? And finally, action. Because you've got the attention, because you've got the consumer's interest and desire, it should lead you to a purchase action. So the first and foremost thing that an advertisement should do is that it should be able to get your attention, interest, desire, and action. The next thing is that it promotes a product. The basic job of every advertisement is promotional. So the second function that advertisement fulfills is it promotes a product. Third, it increases your sales. The whole idea of making people familiar with a product, or creating awareness about a product, or persuading them about the features of the product, the whole idea behind this is that somebody will go and buy your product. So increase of sales is another function of advertising. Next, image creation, maintenance, and correction. Now we all know the recent Maggi example, where their product went off shelves due to health hazard, and then they made a comeback where they had advertisements built around the fact that mothers feel that Maggi is safe for their children. So they try to build in whole safety appeal. So it's happened to cold drinks, it's happened to Cadbury, it's happened to Maggi. Advertisement campaigns eventually help you in not only building an image, but sometimes if something goes wrong, these are the campaigns which will help you in even image correction. Next, information about new products. Now, if there are certain new brands of mobiles in the market, or perhaps there are new versions of a laptop, how would I come to know? Until unless I am a heavy media user who keeps looking at the latest products, I might not be aware of many things in the market if there were no advertisements. So advertisements create awareness about availability of a new product in the market, and large amount of audiences draw their first information about the availability of a product through advertisements. Then it leads to visibility for a brand. Like I again said, if there were no advertisements, you would not even know about the existence of various brands. And finally, it can help you strengthen the dealer networks also. So these are some functions of advertising. There are many, but here in this lecture, we are focusing on some important prominent functions of advertising. The first one was to capture attention, interest, desire, and lead to purchase action. Then promoting a product. Then increasing the sales, image correction, adding to information and awareness, visibility of the brand, and strengthening the dealer network. So these are the various advantages and functions of advertising. Let's move ahead in this lecture. The second objective of this lecture was to familiarize ourselves with the various media available for advertising. Before we make ourselves familiar with the various media of advertising, learners, it is very important for us to understand how many types of advertising really exist. Now, advertising can be classified on various bases. Here on your screen, you can see a flowchart which tells you the classification of advertising, that how types of advertising can be classified on various parameters. The first one, which is going to be of primary interest to us in this lecture, is media based classification. We all need to learn that how many media are available for advertising, and that we will learn through the media based classification. Second is purpose. What is the purpose that an advertisement is going to fulfill? There can be different kind of advertisements based on this. The third thing is presentation. How does an advertisement look like? That is also a way of categorizing it into different forms. And then demand based classification. Now we are going to look at each of these classifications, and then we are going to take up the most important part, which is media based classification. I am beginning with other forms of classification, and eventually this will lead to media based classification. Let's look at these classification one by one with some examples so that you can understand this better. Purpose based classification. So on the basis of what purpose the advertisement will fulfill, you can have an advertisement which is product advertising. Now this is your 90% of the advertisement that you see today is product advertising. A mobile phone, a shampoo bottle, a television, set of furniture, any advertisement. These are all product based advertisements. Then there are institutional ads. Institutional ad means that you are looking at a certain company, an organization which you are trying to advertise. And third is public service advertising. When you have a certain kind of social function to fulfill. For instance, water conservation, nature preservation. These are public service ideas which are also done through advertising. Let's look at the examples for each of them so that it becomes clearer. Look at the first one. Here, the entire focus is on a single product. This is a cosmetic product being sold. So this is product advertising. This one is a corporate advertising. You can fill in the name of the company over here. It is going to talk about the institutional. It has a certain kind of look. And finally, we have public service advertising. Here are two cigarettes that are made here, or a certain kind of smoke. And it just says, just say no. So this is an anti-smoking advertisement. It is public service. This is a corporate advertising talking about a company, and this is a product advertisement. Let's move on to the classification further. Presentation based advertising. How can we say that an advertisement is different from another one? Just by looking at it. So there are three classifications. Display advertising. Display advertising deals with 90% of your ads that you see in newspaper and magazine. Classified display is a combination of the two. Classifieds, you are familiar, job, to-let, matrimonials, where you have classified advertising which is classified on the basis of a category. Let's look at them so that it becomes more easier to understand. This is your typical product advertisement. From the very beginning, this is the most important, or this is the most used form of advertising. This is your display classified. Because you have different categories here, there is no visual, etc. Yet certain kind of colored background is used so that it has more appeal. And this is classified advertisement, where on the basis of categories, employment, property, matrimonials, there are different categories. So classified advertisement is just about information, no visuals, nothing that can really capture your attention in that way. It's more need-based advertising. This one has both. It has got some kind of colored background also. It's got some kind of need-based information also. And this one is purely based on grabbing your attention and telling you the attributes of a product. Next is demand. On the basis of demand, we can advertise in two ways. One is primary demand advertisement and the second is specific demand advertisement. Let us look at an example to understand this better. Look at the first one. England needs you to drink tea. Here is an advertisement which does not give you the name of a brand. It is simply made so that tea as a commodity can be promoted. If there are more users and buyers of coffee, tea as a commodity is going to be lagging behind. The demand for tea is going to go down, which is going to affect the business. So primary demand advertisement means that you are not advertising a specific brand, rather you are advertising the specific commodity. Specific demand advertisement. Here, look at this. This one specifically talks about Lipton tea. So here I am more concerned about pushing a brand. So what kind of advertisement is done when? This is when a specific brand wants to talk about it. So mostly you see this kind of advertising. And this is when all brands come together and they feel that there is a certain kind of lack, or say there's a certain kind of scant in the whole demand for a commodity only. So if you see advertisements to drink more milk, if you see advertisements to have more tea or buy more gold, it means that these are primary demand advertising where the brands have come together to first of all increase the demand. Now imagine if people are not having tea only, then what will Lipton or what will any other brand do? So let's first get together and promote the sales of the commodity, and then the brands can talk about themselves later. So this is demand-based classification. Now we move on to the media-based classification, which is the primary concern for today. Media-based classification is very diverse. It's very comprehensive. What I have done here for you is that I have kept in mind 4 basic classifications, and what comes under each, I put it in a flowchart. So in your screen now you can see the first categorization is on the basis of print, electronic, out of home, and new media. Under the print media, you have newspapers and magazine. Under the electronic media, you have TV and radio. Under the out of home media, you have billboards, transit media, posters, so on and so forth. And under new media, you have internet, mobiles, and like I said, gaming is becoming a new form of internet advertising also. Let's look at each of them separately so that you know about various media available for advertising. And before we move on, let's take an example. Let us say you have to advertise this online course on integrated marketing communication. What comes to your mind? Where all can you put advertisements? Maybe you can put an advertisement first of all in a newspaper. That online course on integrated marketing communication begins from so and so date, is available on so and so platform, and please join this link to register yourself. The second is you'll think of TV and radio. Maybe there can be a small TV spot or a commercial, or the easiest is that you can have a radio announcement being made. The third thing is that you will think of putting an advertisement in internet, maybe like a social media page or somewhere you will put an advertisement. Then you might again think of social media. Like I said, internet and social media are closely linked. Then you might even think of putting a billboard or a poster somewhere around students where frequently are visiting, maybe somewhere around a school, college, coaching center, or a mall where you think young population would visit. So you'll put something on the billboard. So when I think of advertising this course on integrated marketing communication, what are the few things that come to my mind? These are the various media available where an advertisement can be put. Now start looking at them one by one. First of all, newspapers. Newspapers are believed to be the most traditional form of advertising, the traditional media of advertising. When the first newspaper came to India, it was actually called the Calcutta General Advertiser or the Hickey's Gazette. Why? Because it had a number of announcements. So newspapers and advertising have a common history. They have a common evolution story. So newspaper is believed to be the most stable, most credible, most believed form of advertising. Like I said, the origin of advertising intertwines with newspapers also. So that's why it's believed to be the most traditional and reliable form. Next, the feature or the factor with newspapers is that it is limited only to literate audience. Now, it is true that in villages, somebody might read out newspapers to others, but besides that, you know that newspaper subscribers are only people who are literate, who can read and write, and that too amongst the affluent societies, more so. Today, with the coming of regional and language newspapers in India, the newspaper is reaching tier 2 and tier 3 cities also. But still, it has a certain kind of limitation when it comes. Only people who can read and write can actually read a newspaper advertisement. So there's a little bit of limitation in reach. Next, cost. Although the absolute cost for the advertisements being placed in newspapers is low, but ultimately, how many people it reaches out to? For instance, it only takes me about 10,000 to put a small ad in a newspaper, but it is reaching out only to about 20,000 people, or maybe less than that. So, yes, the absolute cost is low, that the cost you are putting to book some space, but how many people it will reach and what is going to be the cost per person, that needs to be accounted for when you are advertising in newspapers. The good point about advertising in newspapers is that you get a lot of editorial environment. Now imagine a standalone advertisement, a flyer or a handbill. You might even just not read it and trash it. But newspaper is something that you are going to pick up to read news. It has a lot of editorial content. So you are going to pick up a newspaper every day for its editorial content, which is actually the environment for your advertisements. The advertisement is surrounded by strong editorial content. Also, newspapers have a lot of credibility. When you see an advertisement in a newspaper, you believe it much more than an advertisement appearing in your WhatsApp message, because that WhatsApp message is here today, gone tomorrow. But something which gets published in a newspaper, you know that it has certain kind of credibility or accountability. So newspapers give you good editorial environment. They have a traditional link with advertisements, and there is credibility when you put ad in newspapers. Another factor which doesn't go in favor of newspapers is the low production quality. We all know that newsprints, the paper on which the newspaper get published, it leads to pixelation of images, it leads to pixelation of the pictures that you put in there. So the production quality isn't very good. When you look at a newspaper advertisement, maybe you're not that lured as you are when you look at a magazine ad. And finally, selectivity and shelf life. Selectivity means a factor that can you reach out to your selected audience? Yes, through newspapers you can have selectivity because each city has its own edition today. Chandigarh Times, Bombay Times, Delhi Times. So if you only want to advertise something to Chandigarh audience, rather than putting your advertisement in the main edition of the newspaper, you can put your advertisement only in that particular city edition. Psychographic, very less, because although there are different newspaper pages, like there is a health page, there is a children's page, there is other pages, but you don't have dedicated newspapers except for business newspapers or economic times. There are no dedicated newspapers that only a health newspaper is out, or only a business or a fashion newspaper is out. There are pages which you can use, but there is less psychographic selectivity. And shelf life, friends, shelf life means that how much long does a particular media stay with you. For instance, newspaper comes every day, so the newspaper of the previous day becomes useless. You don't read yesterday's newspaper ever, right? So it becomes useless after a day. So your advertisement also stays with your audiences only for one single day, not beyond that. So that's the overall point for newspapers. Let's move on to the next media, magazines. Magazines are an interesting medium for various reasons. Let us see what are the features here. Again, reach is similar. There is literate audience. Also, there is only elite audience. Not many people in the lower economic strata are buying magazines, because it's believed more to be a leisure read. It's believed more to be something which affluent people can afford. But what is the positive? It gives you immensely rich editorial environment. So much so that you have dedicated magazines for health, fitness, fashion, photography, interior decor, you name it, and a magazine is there for you. So imagine if you have to advertise a product for the home decor, let us say furniture, you can put your advertisements in a interior decor magazine, and all people who are interested in interior decor will look at your advertisement. So that's immense amount of selectivity and great editorial environment that you can give your audiences. It's got very high production quality. The glossy pages of the magazine make your advertised product look so desirable. Imagine looking at a jewelry ad in a magazine. You will see that it looks flawless. Imagine looking at a skincare product in a magazine. The glossy pages make the model's skin and hair look flawless. So the glossy pages give very good production quality. There is this whole center spread in a magazine or the back cover, which gives you a very good opportunity to reach out your audiences with very high definition images, very luring looking visuals. So it's got good production quality. Then selectivity. Like I said, magazines are both niche magazines and general magazines. If you have health magazine, if you have a fitness magazine, if you have a photography magazine, these will offer you good psychographic selectivity. Geographic selectivity, yes, to some extent. There are local magazines also, but it is low. Then shelf life is very high. Magazine usually stays with you for a week. Certain good magazines, which are very heavy magazines, they come monthly also. So for one whole month, your advertisement stays on the table because your magazine is still there. You keep flipping across the pages till the new issue of the magazine comes. So there is very good shelf life that your advertisement gets once you put it in a magazine. Also, niche magazines give you optimum opportunity. Let's look at the next media now, television. Television as a media is engaging. Television as a media offers a lot of scope for both literate and illiterate audiences. Even if you cannot read and write, you are still able to see a television advertisement. And televisions have penetrated the markets. The television households in India, they are very high. So it's television is one of the highest reach media available to us. Then it is cost wise. There are two things. It takes more cost to really produce and execute a television advertisement. So absolute cost is high. But when you look at cost per person, you will see that the cost per person is low. If I spend about 1 lakh rupee in making a small TV ad, but that 1 lakh becomes cost efficient when this advertisement reaches out to 10 lakh people. So the cost of reaching per person becomes less than even rupee 1. So if you're spending 10 lakhs on an advertisement, which reaches out to 1 crore audiences, imagine the kind of cost per person that you incurred. So that makes television an interesting medium for advertising. Next, the editorial environment. Again, there is a very good editorial environment. Why? Because there are specific TV channels. And whenever you're looking at advertisement between, although you have remote to change, but you are going to be, when you're looking at cricket matches, when you're looking at news programs, you see strips and banners of advertisement coming on the same screen. So the background or the environment that you are getting there becomes very congenial for you to notice an advertisement also. Then production quality is very high for the simple reason that it is an audiovisual medium. Demonstration is a feature which is offered by television, which none other media till now could offer. Now with the coming of internet, things have changed. Otherwise, newspapers, magazine, radio, out of home, nothing could really demonstrate the usage of product. The way you can show the cleaning of a detergent, the way you can show the picture quality of a certain mobile camera, this was not possible to be done by other media. So production quality is high because there is audio visual demonstration available for a product. Selectivity both. Geographic, because you have a lot of local channels. For instance, you have a PTC Punjabi or a Alpha Punjabi or a Doordarshan has so many regional channels. So there is a lot of scope to reach out to specific audiences in these regions also. Psychographic selectivity is great. You have a number of channels. There are separate kids channel, separate health channel, food channel, culture channel, sports channel. So any kind of product, children's product can be put on the Cartoon Networks. The other women related product can be put on food channels or otherwise. There are several ways in which you can choose which channel will reach out to which audiences. Shelf life is low because an advertisement is there for a few moments and then it is gone. but there is a lot of repetition value. The same advertisement comes again and again and again, so it almost kind of penetrates your mind. Radio. Radio is an important medium because it's the kind of intimacy it offers. Have you ever wondered while driving when you're listening to car radio, sometimes it seems like the radio jockey is speaking to you only. So it's very intimate. So radio jockey says that, hello, you, yeah, I'm speaking to you. Can you imagine when the radio jockey says this, you feel like there is a one-on-one conversation that's happening. So advertisements on radio have a great chance to have that kind of intimate touch. Cost is very low. It takes very less amount to have somebody read out a radio advertisement for you. Reach is very high. Then there are three kinds of radio primarily available to you. All India radio, which has a limited kind of advertising policy. FM radio, where you see plenty of advertisements. And community radio, again, which has a certain advertising policy. Jingles are a very specific and beneficial part of radio advertisements. There is a lot of repetition in jingles, which leads to retention of important points. Then there is selectivity. Geographically, we have certain kind of selectivity because there are different FM channels for different cities. Psychographically, very low because there are no dedicated radio networks for health or fitness or women or men, etc. So there is only one kind of radio channel which caters to all kind of interests. So there is less selectivity there in terms of psychographic interest. But geographically, yes, for every city there can be a different kind of radio. Shelf life is low because the radio advertisement is there for a moment and then it is gone. But again, the repetition value is so much that it offers. And production quality again low because there is only limited stuff that you can do in a audio medium. Now let's look at the out-of-home media available to us. Out-of-home media are doing a great business because the kind of visual impact that they can offer. This visual impact leads to making these advertisements more lureable. So first of all, let us look at the various kinds of advertisements available to us. There is billboards, there is posters, there is point of purchase, even transit advertising and skywriting is available. So there is a lot of innovation when it comes to out-of-home advertising. There is a limitation because they are available only in a certain geographic area, but they are cost-effective in terms of not cost effective in terms of a lot of wear and tear that happens. See, if you can look at this visual, you will see that a lot of effort goes into these out-of-home media grabbing your attention. There is a weather wear and tear involved. There is power supply which is involved in making these durable for you. Editorial environment is absolutely absent. These are standalone advertisements. There is nothing along with them. There is no news that you are reading alongside. There is no editorial environment to them. So they're standing on their own. Yes, production quality is very high because of the kind of display that they offer. The selectivity, like I mentioned, is geographic only. A billboard cannot walk or reach out to audiences. Audiences come and see an area where there is a billboard. And shelf life, though, is high because once you've installed a billboard, it remains there for weeks, months, and some out-of-home advertisements stay there for even years together. So it's got good shelf life and permanence value. The last media that we come towards is the new media. And new media involves internet, mobile, gaming, YouTube ads. There are a lot of factors that go in for them. So you see there is an exponential rise in the mobile phones that are being sold today, especially the smartphones, which are internet enabled. So the reach is increasing exponentially, specifically in India. Editorial environment completely depends upon what platform is chosen for new media. If I'm putting it on social media, there could be very good editorial environment. If there is a page about weddings and I put an advertisement for a wedding planner there, so there is editorial environment. Production quality is very good. You have rich media, you have virtual reality these days, you've got every kind of technology with you to support you in a new media advertisement. Selectivity, both geographic and psychographic. Today you can target your audience, you can be interactive with them, and you can integrate the whole process of advertising and purchase only on new media, which makes new media a very important medium for advertising. Friends, before we move ahead to campaigns, let's quickly also look at the advertising process. You've learned about various media available for advertising. Let's also briefly learn about the process through which an advertisement is finally prepared. The first part is research. Before making an advertisement for any product, idea, or service, you need to research into the background to see what are the objectives, what are the problems, what is it that needs to be fulfilled through making an advertisement. After the research process, we move on to ideation. We think of many themes. For instance, if I want to advertise a light bulb, I can think of an advertisement idea which says that this light bulb will lessen your electricity bill. So that's an economy appeal. If I have to sell a light bulb with an idea of, I can say that this light bulb will light up your room so much that your child will never have problem of studying in the dark. So they are going to always study well, their future is going to be bright. Or I can say that this light bulb is environment friendly, the radiations are not bad. Or there are so many ideas to sell a single light bulb. So have you tried to do this ever? Have you tried to see that, there can be various ways of selling a pen, a laptop, a mobile phone, plenty of ideas, out of which you choose one. Then you start writing copy. Copy means an advertisement draft where you think what is the headline, what is the subheadline, what visual we will choose. And here in this figure, you can see this is how a copy is laid out. You decide here you are going to put your headline. There is going to be visual over here. There's going to be a body copy here. There's another visual that you can put here, some important information. The logo can come here. So this is how copy is written for an advertisement, and layout is prepared on the basis of text and design elements that you want to add. After a copy is written for an advertisement, you start executing and designing it. If it is a print ad, you use design softwares. If it is a TV ad, you hire models, you hire talent, and you shoot an ad. If it is a radio ad, you record an ad. And if it is a new media ad, it is either going to be based on print or electronic, right? So it's a video or a static ad, or you have special experts who prepare your new media advertisements also. Then finally comes the time that you start buying and scheduling space in media, after which you run the advertisement for real, and finally you evaluate the advertisement. So very briefly, the process of advertising begins from research, it moves on to ideation, then you write the copy, you execute it, there is media buying and scheduling, you run the advertisements, and then eventually you evaluate them. Next, we will move on to advertisement campaigns. The first thing that comes to our mind is, if we are already making an advertisement, why do we need to make an advertising campaign? So what is the need of an advertising campaign? And advertising, as you are already familiar, is a paid, non-personal promotional activity. It increases sales or builds your image. But why it is not enough? Because a single sporadically appearing advertisement might not be able to fulfill these functions. You could really miss out on a single ad which appears on TV or which appears on a newspaper. But imagine if there are series of planned advertisements. You have that connect. If there are 5 advertisements which are part of a campaign, there are more chances of a greater impact and retention. That is why the impact which a single advertisement might not be able to have, series of advertisements can help you in achieving that impact. Let us see how does that happen. Advertisement campaigns can be defined as a series of coordinated advertisements that communicate a reasonably cohesive and integrated theme. One thing is for sure, you cannot be saying different things in different advertisements. Imagine thinking about the Vodafone Zuzu campaign. So you saw that Zuzus became a common theme in all their ads. Start thinking about the latest Domino's, Swiggy, or these various kinds of campaigns. There is a common look and feel to the various advertisements within a campaign. So if it is a print ad, there is going to be a similar kind of font, headline, caption. If it is a television ad, even the slogan is going to be same. So that continuity becomes very important, that cohesiveness becomes very important. And all these series of advertisements eventually help you achieve a common goal, right? Let us see another 2 things that are important. A specific theme or a keynote idea, which is going to be common in all campaigns, and this campaign is going to be run for a specific period of time. Let's move ahead and see the concept more closely. Advertising campaign is an organized set of related advertisements. Now, each advertisement stands out on its own, but it is also the part of the larger scheme of the campaign. Various ad copies are self-contained, they're independent, but yet they are related theme-wise. For instance, my objective is to talk about Maggie as a safe brand. So I make a first ad where I show a mother and she is giving Maggie to her children. I see another advertisement where I see that another mother who's a working mother and she doesn't have time to really cook meals for her children. She's making an ad, those Maggie noodles and saying that it helps in maintaining balance and she thinks it is safe. And a third ad. So the crux of all three ads is that mothers, if they can give Maggie to their children, so it might be safe. So each advertisement, somebody talks about a work balance, somebody talks about love for their children, somebody talks about how it is quick and easily made in time. Yet the common theme in them is mother's guarantee, right? So mother's guarantee becomes the common theme and each advertisement stands out on its own also. So continuity is the important part in campaigns. These series of advertisements are related by a psychological unity. Like I said, mother's guarantee is that common keynote idea which gives a psychological continuity to your campaign, and physical continuity which comes through color, design, font, setting. So the look of the advertisement becomes same. That's all about our advertising campaigns. There is an important part on principles and process which is going to conclude the whole thing for you. Advertising campaigns are based on following principles. First of all, they help you in understanding that how do you establish your goals. Then formulation of persuasive idea. How will you achieve that goal? Then series of advertisements embodying that idea are designed. Finally, you select the media in which you are going to put these ads, and eventually you execute and evaluate the campaign. So pretty much what we learned in the process of advertisement is done in process of advertising campaigns also. So friends, that was all about the lecture today on advertising and advertising campaigns. It was a lengthy lecture. Let us do a brief recap of what we learned today. First thing that we learned today was definition and concept of advertising. We understood the keywords in the definition of advertising were that it is a paid form, it is a non-personal form, so on and so forth. Then we learned the classification of advertising, and amongst that classification, the most important was media-based classification. We understood newspaper advertising, magazine advertising, TV advertising, new media, radio, so on. And for each of them, we discussed in detail the various features or characteristics for each media. Then we understood the process of advertising, beginning from research and ideation to execution and evaluation. We understood that copywriting and layout are an important part of advertising. Finally, we studied advertisement campaigns. We understood that a single advertisement might not be sufficient at times. So we need series of advertisements with a common theme to achieve an objective. So this is all that we learned today. Here is a task that you can do. Analyze any advertising campaign of your choice and see if you are able to pick out on that common theme or that common factor in 3 to 5 ads that you see in a campaign. Friends, these are the references and readings for today's lecture. And with this, we come to the end of lecture on Introduction to Advertising. This was Module 3, Lecture 1. I hope you have learned something of value today and you are able to understand advertisements with a greater insight today. Hope to see you in the next lecture soon. Thank you so much.